What is going on out there, good people? It is your boy Look Around with LMD Trading, coming at you again today with another daily trade review, as somebody from spam calls me, with another daily trade review. Today we're going to be reviewing trades taken on March 14th. Finishing the day green. Took 7 trades. And I'm going to go ahead and put a disclaimer out there right now that most of these trades, I don't really remember what pattern I got in on or even how they played out. So this is going to be, it's going to be a little interesting today. But let's go ahead and take a look at the thumbnail watch list. We'll see what we had on the list today. The usual. We always have Apple, AMD, Facebook, Microsoft, and NVIDIA. Those just seem to be the tech stocks right now that I'm kind of watching every day. And they all follow the NASDAQ, which is the Qs. So if we look, the morning, nothing was spectacular this morning about anything. A little sell-off for Apple, but choppy. If I blow those candles up, you'll see that a lot of them got wicked tails on the top and the bottom, but everything pretty much sold off right around 11. So if we come up here, we see Apple sold off at 11. We see Microsoft. AMD was still kind of chopping, and then it finally sold. NVIDIA sold off big time, and it sold off a little earlier than the rest of them. Facebook, same thing, sell off. We had CVX Chevron on the list for a daily entry, and then we did take a trade on that, so we'll take a look at that one. And then of course we got the markets, we got the Qs, we got the SPY, and we see that the SPY came right up here to the 50, tested it, failed, and then never looked back. We had a little slight pullback there, and then it dropped again. But we'll go ahead, get Trader View pulled up, and take a look, see what we were seeing. So like I said, March 14th, we took 7 trades, closed P&L on the day 114. Let's see, we took 7, 2 of them were red, so better than 50% today. But yeah, took a little bit of everything. Look like we're gonna finish red on AMD today, and then the SPY we finished green. So we finished red on one particular stock and then green on everything else. But let's go ahead and get our charts pulled up, and we'll get to reviewing. And if you haven't already clicked that like button, please go ahead and click that like button. It doesn't cost you a thing. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Please do so. That'll help me in the algorithms. Let more people see these reviews that I'm doing. And once you click that subscribe button, click that notification bell and set it to all. And that way you'll be notified when I do make these videos. But let's go ahead, get that first trade pulled up. We kind of sat on our hands off the open, and we didn't get into this first trade until 9:42. And this was a call play. This was a call play on Facebook. So why do I got that pulled up? Let's get over to Facebook. That was looking good. I was like, okay, that wasn't a bad entry. Let's see where we're at on Facebook. Looks somewhat the same. We see Facebook made this nice move off the open. Pull back right there to VWAP. And we entered just as it broke that candle. Stop. It's going to be down here. And then our first target is really here. Once it gets past here, it should have been making a decent move, but we see it just came up and rolled over, and we got out of these 2 calls at 9:47. I don't need my computer optimized right now. So we got out right as it was leaving this top and tail. And we made $28 on that trade. And that was 2 contracts. And that somewhat set the mood for the morning. Pretty much looking at everything that was on the watch list as it was playing out. So after we took those 2, next trade that we took was 1 contract. And this was a put. And we took this play on CVX. And like I said, CVX was a daily. We got in based off of the daily. And just look how ugly this chart is. This is ugly. Nothing really impressive about that. But I'm going to go ahead and blow up the daily real quick. And I'll let you see what I was looking at. So on the daily, we see that Chevron has made a nice move. It gapped up. It left this top and tail. Pulled back. Gap back up again. Left another top and tail. Left another top and tail. And our play was to get in if it broke below this candle. And our play was hoping that it would drop today and come down to this area right here that would have acted as a little support or resistance. It would have been a price action area. So that's how we were playing that. Top and tail, top and tail, top and tail, top and tail. So that's got a little selling pressure, even though the buyers was holding strong. Our thought was when it breaks this candle here, let's try to see if it pushes down. So once it broke that, like I said, you won't see a pattern on the intraday chart where I got in. Once it hit that number, I was entering the trade, and that happened at 9:52. So let's see if we even see a pattern. So 9:52. So we entered the trade right there with a very loose stop, because again, we're getting in based on the daily where our stop would be at the top of that candle, at the top of the previous highs candle for the previous day. So we got in right there, loose stop. And the thought was to just trade, let this play out the day and see what it does. So let's see what it did. So we see kind of dipped down, pulled back up, dipped down, pulled back up. And then we got this nice move right here. Unfortunately, this move was not enough to hit our target. So, or actually it may have been right here. Let's see, where did we get out? Because this might have hit target. We got out of this at 215. So no. Let's see where 215 is at. Let's keep going. 215. So we were getting out. Where's 215? Right there. So we did miss this move. It came down here. And we put this line on here later on in the afternoon. This wasn't here initially. You see, this is where I started it at because of that there. But came down here, still hadn't hit our target that we had in the system. Pulled all the way back up. And then when we sat back down, took a look at it, we saw that this was going to act as an area of resistance. And we got out of the trade at 215 right here. And then we see, came down, tested, broke it after we were out. But look what it did. It made that move all the way back up. So decent action on it. Again, 1 put contract. And we made $21 on that trade. Made $21. And again, had a loose stop. So the delta was a little loose delta. And if we look right now, we see it's at 0.21. But that was the play. Get in, set our stop up here, and just let the trade kind of work. And it never did make that break that we were looking for. Was looking for a nice big breakdown, hoping that the day would have finished on a red candle. But Chevron is still holding strong. Know quite a few people that have been looking to try to short it just because of how it's looking on the daily. But it's just continuing to be resilient, continuing to hold strong. So that was our second trade of the day. Third trade of the day was on the SPY. And again, we took one contract on the SPY just because wasn't really impressed on how the charts were looking this morning. And we took this play at 1018. So let's see what 1018 was showing. We would have been getting in right there. So we see this thing opened this morning, kind of faded down, came up, testing the VWAP. This really would have been a halfway decent call play. But again, look how choppy that is. Look at those top and tails. We got bottom and tails. That's just ugly. But find an entry right above here, the high. You had to set the stop way down here and then play it this way would have been the play. But this made this move here, bought a put here, thinking that it's going to sell back down to the VWAP, and it did not do that. And let's see where we stopped out at. We got out of this one at 1052. 1052. Right there. So one contract, and you'll somewhat kind of visualize this when I do it. So one contract, our stop should have been right there. So when this came back up, we should have stopped out. So we would have stopped out on this candle right here. And we would have took that stop. But gave it extra wiggle room, stopped out up here on one contract, and we lost $20. So that's how you can somewhat see the math, how the math actually works. Put the stop where it belongs, and we would have stopped out for the $25. But took one contract, that gives it extra wiggle room, and then we stopped out up there for $20. But then look at what that thing did. Look at what that thing did. That is nice. So bad entry. Bad entry. We were just trying to play that down to there, make a quick few dollars off of it, and did not work. Took a loss on that one. Took a L. Next trade that we took was on AMD. AMD, and like we traded this one back to back. One put contract. So we took one put on this one, and we got in at 1133. This one I could look at the chart and tell you that it was not a good trade. Playing a put right into the VWAP. Right into the VWAP. Smart play would have been to try to play it to bounce, but all of this choppiness would tell you that you shouldn't even be taking a trade. Actually, this drop right here tells me that this should kind of bounce a little bit. So not a real good entry. Just trying to drink a little hopium that it's going to just fade and sell off. But put play, got in right here. We don't even have a candle really to say, okay, that's where our stop needs to be at. But again, one put and we got out of this one at 1051. So let's see where 1051 is. 1051 was right as it was coming back up to this area. So again, stop would have been about right there, just about right where I had kind of figured it should have been. And we lost $20 on that one move for one contract. So again, if the stop was right here on one contract, we would have lost about $10, $12. Two contracts, we would have lost about $20, $25 right there. One contract, extra wiggle room, and then we still take that same 1R loss. So that's how that was done. Bad trade, though. Definitely should not have been getting into that trade. That's why I said going in, I don't really remember most of these trades this morning at all. All right. Now, guess what we did, though? We went right back to AMD, and guess what time we bought? So we got out of that previous trade at 1051. We got into this play at 1052, and we bought two calls. Bought two calls. So this is another one of those. This is kind of extended. It's kind of extended. Not real big volume, though. So we had this real big green candle. But we see over here the volume was still like higher on smaller candles. But got in right there. And we got out of these two called contracts at 1105. So we let this thing kind of pull back some on us. 1105. So we're getting out of it on that candle there. So got in right here. This made the move here. We know first target is going to be right up in here somewhere. We're going to bump into some resistance. And again, it's an area. So it can come down to here. It can go up to there. It's an area. So it bumped that area, came back, tried to come back up and bump higher, couldn't do it, and we got out of it. And on these two contracts, we made $16. $16 on those two contracts. We paid $112 per contract. So didn't cost much to get in the trade, and we sold them for $120 each. So made $8 per contract. Just trying to slowly build up to that $100 target that we set for ourselves each day. But next trade that we got in was on Facebook. So we went back to Facebook, and these here were puts that we bought. And I could see we left some pretty good money on the table on these. And like we got in a little late. Let's see. So 1108, we got in as it did all of this. It's kind of flagging down, not really setting these lows all the way down to this area, but it's kind of stair-stepping down. We got in as it broke VWAP. So as it broke VWAP, and this was one put contract, and we got out of this at 1130. So let's see. Bam. So got in here. Decent entry. It wasn't really too extended. It's a little chopping around here. Again, no real areas where this kind of was setting price action. Maybe right here, if you look right there, and then we come over here and look, that's exactly where it kind of consolidated at. So consolidated, broke down, had these areas marked on the chart. I had made the comment in the chat room that I got so many price action areas marked on the Facebook chart. I don't know if I want to take a trade, but the room from VWAP down to here was a decent area that we can get a good move on. So we bought this put for $139, and we sold it for $164. So made 25 bucks. Again, we buy the usual 2 and we would have made the 50 bucks that we're used to making. Again, we'll get in right here. We'll set our stop up on this top side, and then we trade it down to our first area. If this shows strength, then we could have held on and just came on down through it, but we had our target in the system set hard, and it got us out of the trade at $25, which was our target. So that was our 6th trade. And then our last trade of the day. Last trade of the day was the SPY. And we traded the SPY on puts. Look at that nice move to the downside. And we got in these at 1107. Oh, I'm sorry. We got in these at 11:11 and 7 seconds is what that says. So we would have been getting in on that candle. So this thing chopped up, came up to this area that we had marked on the chart, kind of rolled over. We got in here again. So this one here, it has price action area right here where it's going to probably catch a little resistance at coming down. But we're playing it down here to the VWAP. We had 2 contracts on this one. And we got out of our first contract at 11:32 and 54 seconds. Let's see where that is. All right, computer. Really? We just had this happen the other day. Hold on. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to send a message to Facebook, or not Facebook, to Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade, because that's the second time that's happened where I'm actually sitting here using the platform and then it just shuts down and says that it's inactive. So I have to send a message to them. Let's go ahead and get this last trade reviewed. We got out of this one at 11:32. So right there where we said we wanted to get out of, that was our target, first target. Sold our first contract, and then we got out of our next contract at 12:31. And this one here, once we got out of this contract, we removed our target for the last contract, and then we just continued to move our stop down. Continued to move our stop down. And we got out of this one at 12:31. 12:31. Where's 12:31? Right there. So entered this trade here. 2 contracts. We put our stop up here. We put our first sale order in right here. Trade came down, hit target. We sold that one. So we bought this contract for 106 or 106 bucks. We sold the first contract, this one here, at 120. So we made $14. Made $14 on that one. And then we just managed this second one, and we sold this one for 155. We sold that for 155. So as it came down, we would just move our stop. Once this made this move here, we set our stop like right up in here, right at this little area of junk. And we see we had it a little too tight. Had we had it right up in here somewhere, we wouldn't have stopped out. And look at what that thing did. Look at what that thing did. Like I said, we sold that contract for 155. And even with this coming down and pulling back up, that contract closed at 199. So we definitely left money on the table. One thing I can do, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the actual contract and we'll see what the high was on the day. So we're going to send that over to the red chart and we'll see. This is what the option chart looks like. So that thing, it had a high of day for $274. $274 is what that thing had the high on. And we got out of it for $155. So definitely left quite a bit of money on the table. Left quite a bit of money on the table on that one. But you'll always hear me say it. I got what I wanted out of it. We made $63 on the trade. So on a trade that we paid $212, we made $63. So I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad money. And that last trade gave us a grand total of $112 on the day. So we hit our daily goal. Definitely was not a real busy trading day. I did take one other trade in my other account, which was a stock play on AGRI. I took that trade right up in here somewhere. As this came back, it broke. Actually, it was 475 was where it needed to break. So it was right up in here. Took it here, trying to see if it was gonna just pop and go. Peekaboo came up, rolled over, had my stop just below it, and it stopped me out. So took one trade in that account today, and it was a red trade. Same risk level, lost 25 bucks on that trade. So that's what we did today. But hope y'all enjoyed the review. Hopefully you can try to see what I'm doing. This is a just learn as you go type thing. And it says it up at the top of my banner up there. You see earning while learning and learning while earning. One trade at a time. That's my philosophy right there. You'll hear me say if I lose a trade, that's tuition. You go to college, you pay tuition to learn. Well, in the stock market, you'll pay tuition to learn. The thing is to try to keep that tuition low and be able to sustain and continue to trade. If you keep the losses small, it allows you to learn every day. If these losses that I was taking was $100, $200, it's going to eat into your bank account or into your trading account. And before you know it, you'll be out of money and you won't really have taken the time to kind of learn. And the biggest learning curve I'm seeing is the mental side. It's the mental side. It's holding steadfast to your stops. You take a bad trade, stop out. Stop out. And that's why you see today on those trades where I was giving it a little extra room, instead of taking the 2 contracts I normally would, I'll just take one. Because had I taken the 2 contracts and tried to give it a little extra room, it would have increased my loss. So I'll take the 1 contract, and same thing like with this here, 1 contract, and you give it extra room and you actually get the entire move out of it. So like on that one, let's see, that one SPY that I paid 106 for, you give it extra room and you let it run. Now you're 150% up. Had I been actually watching that trade play out, and possibly could have got out right here as it's making the move back up, as opposed to just having the stop sitting right there and stopping out when it came all the way back up. So that's the thing, being able to last, being able to be in it for the long haul. Most of the people that I kind of listen to when they're chatting, and also some of the professionals that's out there, That's what they say. It was being persistent and lasting. Some of them will tell you that they blew up two or three accounts in the learning process. But if you can learn from their mistakes and not blow up an account, and just take it slow, then I could see this being a profitable endeavor. But a lot of people think that the stock market is a get rich quick type vehicle. And I am here to tell you that every time that I have tried to get rich quick on a trade, it has cost me. It has cost me. I had a trade last year. I was up $4,000 on this thing. And I'm trying to squeeze it out to about $8,000 because I think I done got the charts marked up all nice and pretty. Didn't account for an area on the chart, and that trade turned against me, and I could not be wrong, and I did not get out of that trade, and a few days later I was down a couple of $1,000s on a trade that I was up $4,000 on in a few hours. Maybe not even a few hours. I can't even remember the name of the trade. I have to go back and pull it up. I might review that one. But that was that get rich quick off of one trade mentality. Like, take the money. DWC was another one. DWC. I made good money on DWC. Made excellent money. But I left a lot of money on the table, not understanding the market as well as I thought I did at that time. Definitely being a real new trader at that time. I'm a new trader still, but being a real new trader at that time. I watched that thing go from 175 back down to under $100. But I was in the trade at like 12, 13 bucks. So still made good money, but I left a ton of money on the table. But we'll go ahead and wrap this one up, and we'll be ready to do it again tomorrow. Hope y'all have a good day out there. Peace.